Welcome back to Jersey Matters. We want to continue our conversation on sexual harassment in the workplace with Cristina Amyot, who is president and owner of Enform HR. And Enform HR is what?
We're a human resources consulting firm. We're based out of Tinton Falls, New Jersey, but we have clients in about 20 different states throughout the U.S.
So before this onslaught of claims, before of the onslaught of celebrities and politicians and media figures were hit, were the people that came forward with claims believed?
It's hit or miss. And less so than now. I think you're going to see more claims coming out now with more people being believed. It's usually what's happening is it's a shrug of don't be so sensitive. And not just with the sexual harassment part.
Is that right? Because I keep hearing that, but you work in the workplace.
Yeah.
That really was happening.
Yeah, it really is. Now, listen, with clients that engage with an outside firm like ours, they tend to take things more seriously, right? They're paying for money for us to come in and specifically to train them and work with them. And so they're understanding that not only legally do they have to have a workplace free from harassment and discrimination, but they clearly want to. They're engaging with us, they're paying good money, they're doing that. But a lot of other companies, you're hearing this, and people are coming forward and saying, you know, just don't be so sensitive. Oh, that's just the way it is. He's got a really good heart. You're taking it the wrong way. He just jokes like that with everyone. So you do see that. But now the pendulum
seems to be swinging so far the other way that the person coming forward is being believed, but the person being accused sometimes isn't.
Right. So you have to be really careful when you do investigations, and we do independent investigations as well, because when you come in, you have to realize that you have two people's lives and livelihoods on the line. And oftentimes, so in the public sphere, if it's a he said, she said, you often see the man resigning, but you know, if it's someone famous. But if it's in the private sphere, we really want to do the right thing. We don't have the whole media glitz on a particular company. We want to make sure that we are seeing, did the guy really do it? Or is this just an accusation? And sometimes it can be very difficult to prove.
You know, you said something very important, because we're hearing about all these cases at NBC and at CBS and in Hollywood and in Congress. But sexual harassment, most sexual harassment happens in a factory or at a restaurant or in a business place. Does it translate? Are those women being protected as much as the women that are coming forward in public?
No, the women in public are being protected much more. Whether they're getting a settlement to at least, not that this makes it better, but at least ease some of the pain as they're trying to find another job, and they're also being more believed. And they also, some of the women that are coming forward have less to lose. You know, with all due respect to Gwyneth Paltrow, it's brave that she came forward and said something about Harvey Weinstein, but she also came from two famous parents who were wealthy, and even though she was starting her career and suffered, it's different from, let's say, you know, a project manager in New Jersey making $45,000 a year supporting her household, who now has to decide, does she just laugh when someone says something or give in, or does she make a stink about it and bring it up to HR?
How do women in the position you were talking about that don't have that kind of power, whose cases won't make headlines, how are they protected?
It's hard, even when you go and sue someone. And I've seen people win cases, and the trauma that people go through with that, you know, we see Law and Order and we think the case is done in a week. It's not. These cases often take years. I've known people who have won cases that their marriages are ruined after, their health is ruined after, and they've won the case just by the mere stress of it. What I will say is that, and what I advise all of our clients, is that people should complain up. I have a but coming on this, though, so give me a second. They should follow the complaint procedure, and they should report up. It's very easy, though, for me to say that with our client base, because we've trained the managers. We have a complaint procedure. We've made sure it's correct, and we're often the ones handling the investigation, so we know how it's being held. How it's being handled. Where I struggle is if someone that wasn't in our client base were to come to me as a friend and say, hey, I'm working at this company and this is the environment I'm in, what do I do? And at that point, this is where the but comes in. Gee, is this really a cultural thing at your company? Because if so, do you really think you're gonna change it? At what point do you want to sue and go down that road, or if you know, leave in good standing and find another job? And I hate to say that, and people will blame me for saying that and saying that's not the right way, but in the practical area, if it's cultural and it's your whole company, what are you going to do? Sue or complain up and be retaliated against?
Wow, that's horrible. And all of this is such a it's such a gray area because in most cases there's no evidence. In most cases there's no corroboration. And so you're kind of standing out there alone when you make these accusations. And until that changes, and I'm not sure how it's going to, I don't think you see a sea change. You see these changes at the top with the big headlines, but I'm not sure you see it throughout every business. Do you?
No, I think it's really important to get into education. We have been doing, and now we're doing even so much more non-harassment and discrimination training and trying to raise the awareness amongst employees about what harassment and discrimination is at work, because people tend to think about it from their own point of view. You know, I'm a woman. I tend to see things more from a female point of view, and I'm more sensitive to sexual harassment than, let's say, I might be toward racial harassment or toward harassment against, you know, my religion or something like that. So that's how other people tend to see things. So my point is that as I go traveling throughout the country to do these types of trainings, and someone says, oh, what do you do for a living? And I tell them, I often get a comment with a big eye roll, oh, people are so sensitive these days. Well, there's more to be sensitive about. There's more diversity in the workplace. And what's interesting is the people that roll their eyes and say people are so sensitive, my experience is they're the first people beating down my door in HR when they're offended by something.
We do have to go, and I appreciate you coming in.
Oh, so nice talking to you.
Thank you so much. Cristina Amyot, who is the president and owner of Enform HR. Jersey Matters continues right after this.
Coming up next on Jersey Matters, we promised you the reenactment of the Battle of Trenton, and Dawn has it for you next.